you think, Jerry?
Well, I'm not going to disagree with two Winston Cup champions up here. As we'll see in just a moment, the pit lane has been closed, and now as the pace car comes through turns 3 and 4, they will open the pit lane, and we'll watch Michael Waltrip and Harry Gant, as our two experts have said, come down pit road and get there. Remember, you're only allowed a 2-tire change in Busch Grand National Series rules. That's why you're not seeing 4-tire changes here. And here they come on pit road. Let's go down to the pits and John Kernan. Michael Waltrip brings the Kool-Aid Pontiac into the pits, and so it'll be only a 2-tire change. Michael on top of the screen. Harry Gant's pit crew busily working on the bottom of the screen. Charles Wright working on the right front tire, very sweet. On the right rear, Gant taking on left side tires, a little bit of difference now. The gas pit, Gant beats Michael Waltrip out of the pits. They had a little bit of trouble refueling Michael. It might have been the fact that Harry had pitted once before and put as much gas in his car while Waltrip was almost empty. They were coming in just a few laps anyway.
Michael Waltrip hit that 56 car leaving the pit stand?
He came awfully close. I don't know if he did or not, but that pit lane was very, very crowded, and Michael Waltrip came very close to hitting Ronald Cooper.
There was a huge tire mark on the right door of the Ronald Cooper automobile, and I don't know if that was Michael's tire print or not.
Let's take a look and see again in the pits if we can see exactly what happened. Very, a whole lot of congestion now. The cars, there's the one car pulling out, and yes.
That was Bobby Hamilton and Resendez, I think. I don't see the Michael Waltrip car. I think he's already left the pits.
Oldsmobile safety car is the field in tow. Michael Waltrip could not get out of the pits quick enough, and Harry Gant will be shown as the leader. 106 laps complete. Still got plenty of action to come your way. Stay tuned.
This update is brought to you by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to TSN Control. I'm Gino Retta. We'll get back to the Grand National Budweiser 200 right after taking a look at some baseball highlights. The Toronto Blue Jays, Milwaukee Brewers fighting for first place in the American League East Division. Pick it up, Jays up 5-2 in the 5th inning. Then Dave Parker belts his dinger, third of the year, 5-3 Toronto on that solo shot. Brewers keep on coming, top of the 7th inning. Jays up 6-4, 2 outs, bases loaded for Rob Deere. Slaps a single to right, 2 runs scored, tying the game at 6 apiece. The ball gets by Myers, the runners move up, and that costs Toronto because Myers allows a pass ball. Bill Spires scores, 7-6 for the Brew Crew. Then Dan Plesac comes in to shut the door, and he does. Pat Borders at the plate, grounds out for the final out of the ball game. Save number 10 on the season for Plesac. The Brewers go on to win this one by a final score of 7-6. Milwaukee now first place in the American League East. They're a game ahead of Boston, a game and a half ahead of Toronto. In this game, David Wells took the loss. In the 7th inning, Montreal and Pittsburgh are tied at 2-2. Montreal came into today's action 3 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates in the National League East Division, and the Expos with a great chance to pick up some ground on the division leaders. We're going to take a quick break, and then it's more of the Grand National Budweiser 200 right here on TSN.
Delaware under caution here for trouble with the Jeff Burton car.
And the signal now, Jerry, for one more lap, and we'll go back to green flag racing.
Take a look at the top 10 here, Ned and Benny, as we stand. Harry Gant now, by virtue of that quick pit stop, is shown as the leader. Mark Martin, who also pitted for left side tires, is second. Bobby Labonte. Michael Waltrip, who came in as a leader and came out in 4th spot. Ronald Cooper is 5th. 6 through 10, Tommy Houston. Steve Grissom, another great run by the Steve Bird-led crew. Tom Peck. Chuck Bound, our current point leader, and Dick Trickle, who had finally gotten in and got some tires on that car, is showing in the 10th spot.
And, Jerry, there are 14 cars on the lead lap. Jack Ingram is running 11th. 12th is the Elton Sawyer car, number 27. 13th is Ernie Irvin, and in 14th place is Jack Sprague. 14 cars on the lead lap.
Good run for Jack Sprague.
John Kernan checked with the Michael Waltrip crew. I speculated he might have made contact with Ronald Cooper during that pit stop. but they said they did not believe that he did. He certainly hadn't said anything about it on the radio.
Getting set for green flag action once again. There'll be 90 laps to go when they come by this time. Bobby Scruggs waving the green flag. Harry Gant takes off.
He did get off to a good start. And Michael Waltrip has on fresh right side tires, although he is in 4th place. Harry Gant has on fresh left side tires. We'll see which works the best.
Michael Waltrip wasting no time trying to get to the outside and move around Bobby Labonte. Moving in on the LD Ottinger car.
That's for position. That's 3rd spot. The 44, the red 44.
How about it, John Curtin? Harry Gant's got to be feeling pretty comfortable now with his tires.
Well, you're exactly right. Remember, he had pitted earlier, took on right side tires. Now he has fresh left side tires. Chris Carrier told him the car would be a little bit loose to take it easy, but it doesn't look to me like Harry is planning to take it easy at all for the first 3 laps.
It is hard to get Hurry and Harry Gant to take it easy anywhere.
You know, he said that the car's going to be a little bit loose. People say, well, why would it be loose when you change left side? Because they may be new tires, and they would be smaller than the ones that they just took off. So therefore, the stagger would open up. As he runs the car, they will grow, they'll get larger, and the stagger will close back up and make the car tighter.
I'd say he is making every effort to get those tires to grow right now. He is burning it up down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to pull away, and he is pulled away by some 7 car lengths over Mark Martin. The battle there between Martin and young Bobby Labonte for 2nd spot. Michael Waltrip took about 3 car lengths back watching those twosome, and now Labonte will try to make a move to the inside.
Martin's car going up the racetrack just a little bit. Labonte sticking down on the bottom of the racetrack, and it gives the opening that Labonte needed.
Mark Martin told me last night he did not have a lot of horsepower. They felt that they were down about 60 horsepower to the Buick's V6 and the only Ford in the field, so he could just run this car wide open around the racetrack, but it's not quite enough when they come off the corner.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's no lack of horsepower in that car number 30. Michael Waltrip already moving back into 2nd place. Harry Gant right now, Jerry, is turning laps at around 25.7. And when we had the lap speed of Michael Waltrip earlier on the screen, it was 26.2, so they're running about a half a second faster, and that is as a result of newer tires.
That's almost 140 miles an hour for Gant, but as you said, there is Harry Gant coming out of turn 2. Mike Waltrip, who has that Mike Fryer engine on board, his Kool-Aid Country Time Pontiac, now trying to run him down.
Here is Tommy Houston. That is, I believe, for position.
Tommy Houston trying to stay in front of Tom Peck. Tom Peck really smoking those tires. The McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania driver. This is Tom Peck's home racetrack. It only lives about 3 hours from here, right across from McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh.
He's certainly working on Tommy Houston right now, trying to move on the inside.
And he did it. He is on the inside. Looks like he may take the position away going down in turn 1.
They're about a turn behind the leaders. Tom Peck, no stranger at all to turning that wheel left and right. He grew up in dirt track racing late models up in Hagerstown, Maryland, and in Williams Grove, Pennsylvania, one of the more famous short tracks in this part of the country. Tom Peck, who had a great run at Daytona, qualified 4th there on the super speedways, and is really coming to his own this year in Busch racing.
We have seen him have some good runs here on ESPN. At Darlington, he's finished in the top 5 and has had some very good runs.
Back up front, they begin to mix it up a little bit as we watch. There's Harry Gant on the left of your picture, but the battle now shaping up between Labonte and Michael Waltrip. Young Bobby Labonte not letting Michael Waltrip get away at all.
Oh, yes, he passed Labonte there a moment ago, but it was just after Labonte had passed Mark Martin, and I don't think that he had really got himself settled into a groove at that time, but now he has settled into a groove and has run Michael Waltrip down. Meanwhile, Harry Gant has pulled away a little bit from the 2nd and 3rd place cars. You can see the distance there now. It's Grant Gant on the bottom of your screen, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Mark Martin running in 4th and Ford number 1.
Now, in all fairness, we talk about the youth of Bobby Labonte. Bobby's 26 years old. He's a newcomer. We talk about what a marvelous job he's doing for a young driver. Well, Michael Waltrip's 27, a year older, but Mike's been around a while.
Well, that's right. We think of Michael Waltrip as older because he's been around so long. Bobby Labonte, a rookie this year in the Busch Grand Nationals, and we think of him as a kid. Rob Moroso, we think as in terms of Michael Walker. What's Moroso? 21, 22 years old? So, sorry, Bobby,
right.
we didn't know you was an old guy.
Well, the veteran Harry Gant at 50 years of age is leading the way here at Dover, Delaware, and some youngsters are chasing him. 120 laps complete, 80 to go here in the Budweiser 200. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Can your motor oil take the heat? When today's engines reach high running temperatures, motor oil can thin out, break down, and leave engine surfaces unprotected. But Castrol XLR has been engineered to maintain a lubricating film, even at extreme engine temperatures. At Castrol, we believe if you can't take the heat, get out of the engine.
Play Walt Disney World Baseball Magic at A&P Dominion. Win a trip for two to Orlando, Florida, home of Walt Disney World Resort. All trips provided by Canadian Holidays, a world of vacations. Win up to $25,000 at Thomas Cook MasterCard Traveler's Checks. Win a Honda Civic Hatchback. Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays. Or the Samsung Camcorder, a shop-vac vacuum, or a Janome sewing machine. This week's features, Tide gets the tough stuff cleaner. And Bertolli Oil, Canada's #1 olive oil.
We're back at the Monster Mile as our little monster pulls by and lets you know we are here nowhere else but Dover, Delaware. 24-degree bankings, one of the most demanding one-mile tracks in America. And right now, Michael Waltrip and the youngster Bobby Labonte. And Labonte trying to move to the inside. What a tremendous job Labonte has done. He sat on the pole here today, his first ever Busch pole or Busch Series pole. And for that, Goodyear will be donating a check for $1,000 to the Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary in the name of Bobby Labonte. Goodyear, of course, making that donation in the name of our pole sitter today. And Bobby would like to get that donation as well as a few other donations here today by picking up his first Winston Busch Series win.
I bet you Michael Waltrip right now is wishing he had stopped and changed those right sides at the 50-lap mark. Change those tires at the 50-lap mark because he stopped now, but those other cars have an advantage on them. They've got 50 less miles on their right sides. We see Tom Peck. We saw him just a moment ago trying to chase down the 6 car.
He's a 7th-place car. Now watch him in the turns here.
I think he went in there and really had to hit his brakes, and it got him all out of shape as he came off of turn 2. He probably got on the gas a little bit too quick again.
Boy, I tell you what, he did a great job. Say, look, Labonte's on the inside of Michael Waltrip. He might have him coming off turn 4.
Pontiac of Michael Waltrip, Oldsmobile, car number 44. That's Labonte. The Ford about 3 car lengths back is Mark Martin.
Come on, Labonte, now I'm getting too excited. Ooh, Michael slipped badly off that corner over there.
Made it easy for both of those drivers to move right around on the inside.
Now, Ned, you talked about that car on the racetrack. That's what that was just a moment ago. Michael Waltrip caught just a spot of that tar over there, and the car jumped sideways on him.
So, now Bobby Labonte moves into 2nd, Mark Martin to 3rd, Michael Waltrip drops back to 4th. And Benny, I think you're right. I think he wishes that he had those fresh left side tires on. Had he taken on right sides when Gant and the others did early in the race, Bobby Labonte and Mark Martin both took on right side tires at about, what, the 50 or 60 lap mark. And now they have on fresh left side tires. Gant pulling away.
So worn tires plaguing Michael Waltrip right now. He has now dropped back to the 4th spot. And we'll see if 26-year-old Bobby Labonte can reel in that man, Harry Gant, as they come out of turn 2. Gant just about a straightaway separation now as he is pulled away. Back in the pack, a couple of cars racing back for the 6th spot. That would be Ronald Cooper. There's the Tom Peck car, number 96. The car that had been slipping and sliding. Peck is currently being shown in the 8th position. Just in front of him, the car number 63, there is Chuck Bound, the Nescafe Coffee's Pontiac, the Hubert and Jeff Hensley maintained machine. He is being shown in the 7th spot. He is trying to reel in Ronald Cooper, the car number 56 of Cooper. Chuck Bound, of course, our current point leader in Busch Series competition, holds a 20-point bulge over Jimmy Hensley.
Urban in the 75 automobile, the Houston Red Oldsmobile.
So they made a pit stop when the yellow flag was out a little bit ago for the Jeff Burton car. Then they came back down pit road just before the green came out, so he started shotgun on the field, and he has climbed his way back up in the 9th position on the lead lap.
They have taken the Bobby Hamilton car behind the pit wall for the fans in Nashville, Tennessee. Bobby Hamilton is out of the race.
Car number 33, the Dick Trickle machine, and car number 6 to the right of your screen, a couple of veteran drivers. That's Tommy Houston, veteran Busch Series driver. Tommy making his 250th consecutive start in Busch Series competition today. He has not missed a single race in this, the 9th year of the Busch Series Tour. Back up front, Harry Gant showing the way. Hurry and Harry from Taylorsville, North Carolina. When Harry Gant first made his name in Winston Cup racing, it came at this racetrack driving for Jack Beebe. Everyone remembers that Harry Gant line back years ago. He ran right up on the wall.
I remember it well. He took that 47 car up where nobody had been before, and he finished second that day, didn't he?
I think he did. Yep.
Well, he finished second every race about that year. He finished, I think he finished second 7 or 9 times, something like that, before he ever won a race.
Let's check in the pits with John Kernan. John?
Well, the reason Mark Martin is beginning to fall back, like Rick Mast earlier and some others, he has lost a cylinder. He just buzzed by. He's only running on 5, so a tough break for Mark Martin.
Well, when you're already under horsepower to the other cars in the field and then lose the cylinder, it really does put you at a disadvantage. One thing about it, though, that car has always handled well. You can see it goes through the corners real well, and that'll allow him to still maintain a reasonable speed.
Bill Davis is trying to be as loyal as he can to Ford. That car is sponsored by the Carolina Ford dealers. He told me, said, I would like to run my Ford, and I'm the only Ford out here right now for the Series Championship in 1991, and he's looking possibly to get a sponsor, and I'm sure that if they could find a good effort, he would like to, because a Ford has never won the Busch Series Championship. In fact, it was right here that a Ford won its first ever Busch Series race with Mark Martin aboard back a couple of years ago.
Of course, he'd have to get another driver, too, because Mark Martin would not be able to run all of the Busch races. Here's a race he would not be able to run all the Busch races and the Western Cup Series, too.
That's a race from 5th spot, bound trying to get by the 56 car driven by Ronald Cooper. That's the 63 car on the inside, Chuck Bound. The 96, Tom Peck. 75 car of Ernie Irvin. And there, Joe Nemechek blows, or looks like he has an engine problem, going in turn 1, and the caution flag is out once again.
Tough break for Joe Nemechek, the rookie driver from Lakeland, Florida. That's the car prepared by Donnie Allison. There's Joe Nemechek, the rookie driver. Donnie Allison, the crew chief on that car, as he erupts an engine here. 139 laps complete. It's getting exciting at Dover, Delaware. Don't go away. We'll be back after this.
You gotta be tough to be a goalie. People are always taking shots at you. That's why goalies like us like to hang out with. There's plenty of friendly people, you know. Hi, Eddie. John. Good to see you. Jilly, how you doing?
Hey, John.
Hey, John. And a goalie's favorite beer, Miller Lite. Hiya, Pierre. How's it going, John? In fact, no beer tastes better than a Miller Lite when you're surrounded by a lot of familiar faces. Yeah. Hey, guys! Who's that? Who's he? Tony! Tony Esposito!
Miller Lite. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
And we must look at this spark plug closely. For the good of North American cars, we must improve performance. And we must redesign it for quicker starts and better fuel economy, with the secret chosen by all Japanese and many European automakers. The NGK V-Groove design. NGK V-Power, the spark of genius.
Back at Dover, Delaware, it's a race down pit road. Bobby Labonte and Harry Gant have pitted, and looks like Bobby Labonte, by virtue of his pit selection, will be able to get back out in front of Harry Gant after changing 2 tires.
But unfortunately, Michael Waltrip and Mark Martin beat both those cars out of the pits. Harry Gant had an extremely long pit stop, had some trouble on the right front of the automobile. Looked like all the lug nuts fell off the wheel when he threw the wheel up on the hub. All the lug nuts, they normally glue them to the wheel, they all fell off. They had to pick them up off the ground and stick them back on the lug studs. But the 75 car, Ernie Irvin did not pit, so therefore he's early.
Well, a good run for Ernie Irvin, having qualified in 23rd spot. The Charlie Henderson-owned Oldsmobile, the You Can Rent Olds, and Ernie Irvin is our leader here at Dover, Delaware. Caution flag being displayed again for the erupted engine of Joe Nemechek. Now, that car of Nemechek's is prepared by Donnie Allison. We might want to mention that Eddie Allison, the eldest of the Alabama gang, is recuperating at a hospital in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, after total hip replacement, and we would like to send our best wishes along to Eddie. Let's take a look at some of the pit stops here. We will show you just a moment ago Harry Gant on the bottom of your screen and Bobby Labonte. They go to the right side of the Harry Gant car, and here's Labonte's car into the pits, and they go to the right side of that machine as well. Let's listen. Bobby Labonte's car back on the racetrack, and there's the car number 1 that made an excellent pit stop. That is the Mark Martin, Bill Davis crew, Carolina Ford dealers, and they came in.
And they had a little different strategy, Jerry. When they came into the pits, they took on left side tires, and so we'll see how that works for them.
Well, they took on left sides, I'm sure, Ned, because they're on 5-cylinder. They're not going to be able to run with these fellas on. So the quicker they can make a pit stop, the better off they'll be. So change left sides. It's a couple of seconds faster changing left sides than it is right sides, because the jackman, the crew, doesn't have to go as far.
And he right now is in second place as a result of that. Ernie Irvin, as we said, did not stop, so he's the leader.
So Ernie Irvin didn't pit. He will stay on the racetrack and be our leader when we go back to green. Mark Martin, by virtue of that left side tire change, although he's a cylinder down, is in second spot. Michael Waltrip having a fresh tire change in third. Bobby Labonte is fourth, and Grissom is fifth. Stay tuned.
Daddy?
Mister.
Is there cholesterol in these French fries?
Is there what?
You know, cholesterol.
Oh, you mean cholesterol?
Well?
No, honey. These are McCain Super Fries. They're cholesterol-free. Want some?
Daddy?
Yes, dear.
I'm glad we had this little chat.
Great tasting McCain French fries from the oven. Cholesterol-free for the whole family.
Back in Dover, Delaware, the waning laps here of the Budweiser 200. Caution out for the blown engine of Joe Nemechek. And now the Oldsmobile safety car up in turns 3 and 4. Ernie Irvin in the car number 75 showing the way.
What's that smoke coming out of that car? Is that smoke coming out of that 75 car? Maybe I'm seeing things, but I thought I saw some smoke coming out of that automobile.
Well, we're about ready to get the green flag. We'll see.
We'll see some smoke now as he will come up through the gearbox and try to pull away from Mark Martin. Remember, Martin is already being shown as a cylinder down. He is a second-place car. Lap 146, Bobby Scruggs showing the green flag.
Now we see Michael Waltrip just drive by the 5-cylinder car of Mark Martin.
That's a Robert Presley car, number 59, that's trying to stay in there. Presley, a rookie last year, picked up a win up at Rougemont last August. He's one of the lap cars to the outside, and there is Steve Grissom. Impressive run for Grissom.
He got a good restart past Bobby Labonte and several other cars on the restarts and gets them driving by Steve Grissom. And the Big Mama meets car number 31. Puts him up in third place.
Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile. That's the Steve Bird prepared car. Bird, who was the crew chief for Rob Moroso last year when he won the Busch Series Championship. He's holding right in there, holding his own with Michael Waltrip, and Ernie Irvin is trying to hold that bottom groove, but those tires are a little bit too worn.
Yep, and Michael Waltrip with fresh right side tires just jumps right up on there and moves around.
Steve Grissom sitting there, got a bird's eye view of that battle between Mike Waltrip and Ernie Irvin. And Irvin gets tapped, catches Grissom. Heavy debris. Now Chuck Bound's front of his car catches the hood off of the Irvin machine.
That's exactly right, Jerry. The hood flew off the 75 automobile, and poor old Chuck Bound ran right into it.
Well, that's a narrow place on the racetrack when you come off at 2 and the car gets in trouble. there's just not a lot of... And look how much damage it did on
That's the hood.
Chuck Bowen's car.
That's the hood of the car. That's the hood of the other car hung on the front of his car.
Oh, okay. So it is bang on that.
That's the hood. I mean, it's, I guess you're allowed to have two hoods at this time of day, but you see that hood scraping on the pavement there, the Nescafe Coffee Pontiac, and that's the hood off the Oldsmobile of Ernie Irvin's car.
Well, now, Chuck Bowen is shown in 5th place. He's going to have to make a pit stop and give up that valuable track position.
Look at that Yukon Red hood.
That hood impaled in the left front fender of the Chuck Bowen machine. Let's take a look at it again and see what happened.
Well, Ernie Irvin trying to come back up on the outside of Michael Waltrip as they come off of turn 2, and they touch a little bit. Irvin goes into the wall, comes down and collects Steve Grissom, spins him the wrong way, and Irvin spins to the inside, and then the hood flies off of the Ernie Irvin car into Chuck Bowen's path.
Another angle, let's take a look at a different view from looking down the back straightaway, Benny.
Exactly what happened. Michael Waltrip and Ernie got together. Steve Grissom gets hit in the right rear of his car, spins around. There we see the hood. Now watch this hood in the middle of the speedway. Along comes the red car, and boom! Speared it in the left front. That's what impale means, isn't it, Jerry?
Impaled. Impale means he got stuck in the front of the car. There you go.
Well, it might be a good thing that that thing was as low as it was. What if it comes up in the windshield?
Well, that's one reason those bars are there. We see those 4 bars in the windshield. That's one reason they're there, to stop debris from coming in on the driver.
Jeff Henson there kneeling with talking on the radio. And here is part of what's left of the Ernie Irvin You Can Rent Oldsmobile. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, as you can see, the front end torn off, the left front fender gone, the right front fender is bent up, the front end is gone. Ernie has taken his helmet off. He's sitting in the car talking to his Winston Cup crew chief, Tony Glover. Now, Ernie is coming out of the car, and we'll see if we can get a word with him. Ernie, what happened out there?
Oh, evidently Michael didn't see me on the outside of me, and outside of him pinched me up against the fence.
Damage too badly to continue?
Yeah, you know, we're just here to race the races, and I'm not here for the points, so they know you can put her back together now.
Well, last night, Ernie had told me he had the car to charge to the front, and it ends in disappointment here at the Monster Mile.
Let's take a look one more time at what happened up there now. That's Michael Waltrip on the inside, Irvin on the outside, and they get very close.
Yes, they do. In fact, they might touch a little bit, and Irvin goes up into the wall, comes down off of the wall, collects the car number 31 of Steve Grissom, who was running in 3rd place. Irvin goes to the inside of the racetrack, and then, of course, the hood goes out into the path of Chuck Bowen.
Now, Grissom did one whale of a job keeping his car from being tagged in the outside wall and keeping it again from coming across to the inside. As the crew that Charlie Henderson owned, the Oldsmobile, pushed that car, what's left of that car, back behind the wall. 50 laps to go here at Dover, Delaware. Michael Waltrip showing the way. Steve Grissom comes down pit road. A tough break for Steve Grissom in the Big Mama Meat Snacks car, as they will change right side tires and work on that machine. We will have 50 laps left to go. Michael Waltrip trying to hold off the challenges of a couple of veteran drivers, Harry Gant, Mark Martin, the youngster Bobby the Body, and Tommy Houston. We'll see who's going to win it when we come back after this.
Jig the Flying Ace had almost won the race when he saw 2 scoops of raisins in the package of Kellogg's Bacon Bran.